David Dobrik says a fan tried to sneak into his home by posing as a delivery driver. Tony Lopez has been accused of sexual assault by two people. Belle Delphine has been widely criticised for a highly controversial photo set. And of course, it's the return of Comment of the Week, and isn't that nice? All this, plus I accidentally shaved my moustache too short, and now I look like a Victorian waif on this week's edition of YouTuber News. Hosted by me, Benedict Townsend, and brought to you by PopBuzz, the only website that got its driver's license last week, just like we always talked about. Our first story, David Dobrik says a fan tried to sneak into his home by posing as a food delivery driver. Speaking to Jason Nash on their podcast Views, David explained that he and his assistant had ordered food one day, and when he went to the door, he found not a delivery driver, but a fan holding his food. He said, quote, "He wasn't our door dasher. He was just some kid who had picked up our food from our doorstep and came into my room to deliver it to me." Now, even more worryingly, his assistant said that she recognized this person because she'd seen him hanging around outside the house before and had actually already asked him to leave on that earlier occasion. And that wasn't the end of things. David said he walked the person away and actually ordered him an Uber home, which is very nice of him, but then the guy showed up again later that same day. And David said the fan was wearing a hoodie and he had his hand hidden in the front hoodie pocket, which meant, you couldn't see his hands, which is obviously a little bit threatening. David said he started screaming, quote, "Put your hands where I can see them." He said, "I kept screaming at him and he wasn't. I was like, we're calling the police. I thought he was going to shoot me in the head, honestly." So, pretty scary for David, and I think this goes without saying, but don't do this. Don't invade someone's home. You may be a big fan of theirs, but you can't just walk into their house, no matter how well known they are. It's kind of an interesting example of the one-way relationship between creators and fans, where, fans feel like they know creators, and they're like, well, I know David, I know his house, I've been inside his house on videos, which means I'm allowed to go in real life. And no, absolutely not. It's like there's this cat called Suki who sometimes thinks she can just wander into my videos like she owns the place, and it's like, dude, get off the set. I'm just kidding, she of course is the queen of the set. Our second story, Tony Lopez has been accused of sexual assault by two people, and I feel like this is a story we unfortunately keep having to report. And we're going to give a quick trigger warning because we are going to have to discuss allegations of sexual assault. If that's something that you don't want to hear about, please skip ahead to the third story. In a new lawsuit, TikTok star Tony Lopez has been accused of sexual abuse and soliciting nude photos from underage girls. Now, this lawsuit was filed by two teenage girls who have been kept anonymous for obvious standard legal reasons, and the lawsuit alleges that the two teens were 15 and 16 at the time that these events allegedly took place, while he was 20 years old. And the lawsuit alleges, quote, that Tony lured, persuaded, coerced, and groomed them into either committing sexual acts with him or sending him inappropriate photos. And more specifically, these allegations include the fact that he engaged in sex acts with someone who was underage, which is statutory rape, the fact that he told one of the teenagers not to take photos of him while he was with her because he didn't want a record of him being with an underage girl, which seems to indicate very clearly that he knew what he was doing was wrong, if this is true, and just all kinds of unsavory behavior. Now, for his part, Tony denies all the allegations. He sent an email response to Teen Vogue, who said, quote, "These allegations are not true at all. I never sent nudes to these women, and I didn't ask them to send me pictures either. And I certainly wouldn't have sex with someone who told me they were underage. This whole thing seems like a money grab to me. I'm going to fight it to the very end. I will not allow them to continue to slander my name and attack my character." And I do like that he's gone for the standard money grab defense here. Famously, the easiest way to make money as a young teenage girl is to engage in a long and traumatic lawsuit. A lawsuit that probably doesn't even involve money. It's just probably a criminal lawsuit, but yes, Tony, that sounds right on the money. Our third story, and this story also comes with a trigger warning because all YouTube news is just incredibly depressing these days, apparently. It's going to be quite heavy, so if any of that stuff, again, is something you don't want to hear, skip over this story. Belle Delphine has been criticized for a photo set that she posted, an explicit photo set, which people claim fetishizes rape, and it shows her being fake kidnapped in the woods while dressed, in the eyes of some people, as if she was very young. The pictures were posted to Twitter without a trigger warning, prompting a wide amount of people to call her out. One person wrote, quote, "Romanticizing rape to your following of mostly already weird men presenting as a younger girl is absolutely disgusting, and you should be ashamed of posting this." Another person said, quote, "The issue isn't having this kink, it's the fact that a lot of males here will see this and think this is normal. They don't know about the safe words, long discussions, and therapy that take place before engaging in a scene like this. They just see rape." Now, at first Belle didn't respond directly, to this backlash. She did the classic YouTuber thing of just liking other people's tweets that were supporting her. But now she has responded with a long statement in which she very much does not apologise, but gives a variety of justifications, arguing that she behaved in a way that was perfectly fine, and which include the phrase, quote, "No one likes rape," which has to be the strangest single sentence to ever appear in a YouTube statement. It's so casual, it's such an insane understatement. She defends her clothing choice, which she says is not meant to make her look young. She tries to argue that it's retro clothing. You can make up your own mind on that. She also consistently emphasizes that everything she did was consensual. And again, I don't think anyone was doubting that. It's more the consensual behavior dressed as non-consensual behavior. And basically she seems to have drawn her line in the sand here. So you're either going to agree with her or not agree with her on this. It doesn't seem like her mind is going to change. But either way, if this is the kind of material that is going to be triggering or upsetting for you, it probably will be for a decent chunk of people, I'd advise you to unfollow or block her, because she makes it pretty clear that she is just going to keep posting stuff like this. This show used to be fun. We used to talk about pranks. Oh, hi there, I didn't hear you come in. So we forgot to do comment of the week this week on YouTuber News, so instead I thought I'd give you a little behind the scenes peek at how we write the show. Me and the writing team sit down every week and just try and hash out the best and often most depressing stories from the world of YouTube, wasn't it? Yeah, I'll tell them in a sec. And just try and get it together into a script that really entertains and, educates. Yeah, I know, a lot of the YouTubers are pretty mean. Yeah, it's true. I tend to come up with ideas and my assistant here types and, thought I'd give you a little peek behind the curtain. Hopefully it doesn't spoil things too much, but you said it, Tuki. I couldn't have put it better myself. Back to the show. And with that, we come to the end of a rather heavy instalment of YouTuber News. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully next week's episode will be a bit lighter. It's up to the YouTubers. Maybe they can start being nice. I'll be back next week with Quick Bites, the YouTuber News podcast, and of course another instalment of this, YouTuber News. But until then, look after yourselves, have a great week, and remember, there's nothing funny that happened in any of these stories that I could reference.